Hey wavies and curlies, this is Stacy from the Frizz Girls, and I wanted to talk to you about something a little different than what I've talked to you about before. I wanted to share with you my story of the Frizz Girls and why I created them. So when I was young, about 9, I kept hearing the words from my mom, "Do you want to cut your hair? Cut your hair, cut your hair, cut your hair." And I constantly heard that. And at the time that I was growing up, Gen X in the 80s, there wasn't a lot of information on wavy curly hair. There wasn't a lot of support for wavy curly hair. There was no brushes really available for wavy curly hair. There was very few products for wavy curly hair, and there was very few women that were showcasing and wearing their wavy curly hair proud. And because of the lack of information that was available, and then parents, specifically like my mom, did not know how to take care of my wavy curly hair, how could she teach me to take care of mine? So I went through the painstakingly process throughout my life of doing anything and everything with my wavy curly hair. I cut it. I use foam rollers. I use the crimping iron. I use hot rollers. When I moved to Kentucky from LA, I permed my hair in the summertime because the chemicals controlled my waves and controlled all the frizz. I colored it. I cut it a number of times. I straightened it with the straightener. I put waves back in with the curling iron, with the 3-wand curling iron. I did everything to my wavy curly hair that I could, except for love it, because I was never taught to love it. I never saw a role model. I never saw somebody loving their wavy curly hair at all growing up. And because there was such a lack of information, I could not love my wavy curly hair. I didn't know if I liked it short or long. I didn't know if I liked it straight or wavy. Or if it was, and sometimes it felt like it was easier to just straighten it out and then add waves back into it. And then when it was straight, I could just roll out of bed and brush it and pull it back or leave it down or add waves to it if I wanted to. Things just became easy. And since I produced the Frizz Girls a few years ago, and they're just now getting out into the market to people, every time I'm out in public and I meet somebody, they ask me or they say to me, "Where were these books when I was a kid?" Or, "I wish I had these books as a kid." And I say to them, that's why I wrote them. I didn't have this information as a kid. I didn't know anything about really loving my wavy curly hair. And because I went through this enormous hair journey, living in LA, growing up as a kid, as a Gen X kid, doing anything and everything that I could do to my hair. And then in the middle of that, moving to Kentucky, where the weather is completely different. We have all 4 seasons, including humidity. Not knowing how to deal with my hair in humid conditions or snow or rain or freezing cold weather just made it really, really hard. But I wanted to take my story and share with you women, you Gen Xers, that you were never alone. The information just was not available to us. But now that it is. And I wanted to write these books, not just for the Gen X women who went through this, but for their kids, or moms with straight hair who have kids with wavy curly hair, or moms who happen to have kids that are biracial and who have mixed texture. And some of these moms may have wavy curly hair themselves, or they may have straight hair, and their biracial daughter might have a completely different texture that they don't know how to work with, and they don't know how to help their daughter take care of their wavy curly hair. So I wanted to include kids like myself that were not taught to love their wavy curly hair, that were taught that to love your hair is just to cut it off because it was easy. And that's not the solution. The solution is love your hair. You were given your hair for a specific reason. I was given wavy curly hair for a reason. I was meant to wear and have wavy curly hair. But I was never meant to appreciate it and to love it. And I went through a crazy journey. Not uber crazy like some people, but a crazy enough journey for me. And so that's why I wrote these books, is to help girls 5 to 13 years old. And I know you're probably thinking, why 5 to 13 years old? Because that's a really big age gap. The reason why is when kiddos hit the age of 5, specifically girls, their hormones start to change. Their bodies start to change. Depending on the child and depending on genetics, some girls can start their menstrual cycle as young as 9 years old and 10. Now, on the average, it's usually like 11, 12, and 13, but some can start a lot younger. And what happens is, as a woman, when your hormones change, your body changes, your skin changes, your metabolism changes, your appetite changes, your hair changes. Your hair can get curlier or straighter, or it can become wavy. It just depends. It's all genetics. And so between 5 to 13 years old, hair is usually pretty much stable. It's not really changing much. But for a girl, your hair is going to start changing right around the time of your menstrual cycle. So when your hormones change, your hair is going to change. So your hair might get straighter, might get wavier, might get curlier, might get thicker, might get more coarse, might get thinner. It doesn't matter. Whatever your hair happens to your hair. So, and by the time you get to 13 years old, most teens want to have control in some way, shape, or form of their hair. They want to cut it. They want to color it. They want to experiment, because teens, that's what they do, is they want to experiment. So I wanted to help those kiddos between 5 to 13 years old before their hormones got to them, before they start experimenting, how they can learn to love their wavy curly hair and also take care of their wavy curly hair. So if in the off chance they did decide to cut their hair, straighten it, use plenty of heat tools, perm it for some odd reason, shave it, color it, bleach it, whatever they chose to do their hair, they have the knowledge and the tools to take care of their wavy curly hair. Because as we get older, guess what happens? Our brains tend to forget things. It's not because we're dumb or anything like that. Our hormones change. Our brains change. And we become forgetful. So I wanted these kiddos between 5 to 13 with wavy curly hair to be reminded, oh, I have the Frizz Girls book. They taught me how to figure out my hair type, why I don't dry brush, where I can learn about the ABCs of wavy curly hair. I can go back to my books, pull the information, relearn everything, and get my wavy curly hair back, even if they've destroyed it. So that's why writing these books is for those moments when we forget how to do something, you can go back and refer to it. Because we all get old and we all forget. We got to be reminded somehow. And because hormones in women change throughout our lives, whether we want them to or not, we have no control over our hormones. Unfortunately not. And everything plays a factor. And when our hormones change, our hair changes as well too. So that's kind of my story of why I wrote the Frizz Girls. Because there were no role models for me growing up. Nowhere. I didn't have a role model. Nobody was wearing their wavy curly hair with pride and really talking about it. Because it was kind of shunned. It's kind of like frizzy and brushy and poofy. And specifically wavy hair, we're in the middle between straight and curly. So what works for a curly and what works for a straight hair kiddo may not work for a wavy, because we're right in between. But what we can do is learn to love and appreciate our wavy curly hair and take care of it. So that's kind of why I wrote the Frizz Girls, So if you want to know more about my story, or if you just want to order one of my books, you can always go to my website, www.thefrizzgirls.com, and learn more information. Hope that answered your questions, wavies and curlies. Have a great day. Bye.